everybody. It's a new year, and welcome to Horror Movie Yearbook.
Yes, 2023. We're back.
Absolutely.
And you got a new chair
I do. This is nice.
to celebrate the new. Is it better than
No,
the
it is. I'm so
sunken couch?
because I read off of my laptop here a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's at a much better angle too.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Good.
This is nice.
You can move a little bit. You can wiggle and move a bit.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I did when I hauled that piece of sectional out. I cut the bottom open to have more area to grip to lift it out of the basement.
Uh-huh.
And when I looked at the spot that you'd been sitting in, which was not your fault. It was already breaking down before. The springs were sinking, broken and sinking. The springs were non-existent.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how bad your back hurt.
Did you find a bunch of batteries and beer bottles?
I didn't search.
Okay.
I just hauled it out.
Because that would be my fault. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be your fault. But but no. Yes, you have a chair now, which rocks and moves. So you got a little bit of freedom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is nice.
Yeah, that's good. Hopefully, it improves our audio quality. It won't. I'm just
the audio quality
now.
here is good.
Yeah.
It's when we do the remote that we're all over the place.
That's trouble. Yes.
But we're here. We're in the studio.
We are here.
Check out the Midwest Game Nerds. They're going to be talking about games, I assume, and some 2023 games.
I would hope so.
Yeah. I know they just recorded a new episode, so check out Midwest Game Nerds. What else? I think
for my game nerds listening, real quick, will you be watching The Last of Us show, and will you be talking about it? Because I'm very curious to hear. Because that starts on the 15th. It's coming up.
Ooh, okay.
On HBO. So I'd like to hear what they think.
Do you have HBO?
I do not currently, but
Okay.
I'm thinking. I'm thinking about that.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of stuff on there I want to watch.
Yeah.
So it might be time to pull the trigger and do some catching up.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Because I need to watch that. I just got Christmas gifts. We're after Christmas.
Yeah.
I want to talk about some Christmas gifts. I got. I'm trying to think of horror related stuff I got right now, but I got some Jaws socks. They're kind of Jaws socks.
Oh, that's cool. Shark on them.
Yep, shark.
Yeah.
And then I also got The Quarry. That's what reminded me. The video game The Quarry.
Yes, with David Arquette.
With David Arquette.
Lance Henriksen, isn't it?
Yes, the dude from Righteous Gemstones.
That's right.
Kid. Yeah, so I played the demo a while back. It's kind of a story-based game.
It's from the guys who did, they've done all the Dark Pictures games, which is 4 or 5 of those at this point.
House of Ashes is one of them.
Is the latest one, I believe.
Not House of Asses.
Not House of Asses,
I
which
was corrected.
sounds like a totally different beast. But I'd be interested.
Sounds like one of those deep things you're searching around Switch late at night and you go into the
and you find House of
weird
Asses
section.
Yeah. They did Until Dawn, which is become one of my favorite games ever, period. Love Until Dawn. I think it's phenomenal. So I have definitely wanted to play The Quarry. I'm kind of, you're going to have to let me know.
I'm going to dip into it. I'm hoping by next episode when we record, I'll have...
I'm a little jealous. I'm excited. I have to. Did you get it for PS4 or PS5?
I got it for PS5, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I can't borrow it, which is a bummer, but I'm looking forward to that because I loved Until Dawn so much, and this is their next full-length game.
Okay.
Because the Dark Pictures ones are kind of... They're budget games, so they're $30-$40.
Yeah.
But they're kind of shorter,
Yep.
So this is a full game.
I played the demo a while back, and I really dug it. So I want to go through and play the whole thing. So
great cast. Ted Raimi.
Yeah. Oh, Ted is in it. I believe Ted's in the first 10 or 15 minutes of the game, the parts I played. So
yeah, and we're not when we say they're in it. If you're not familiar, it's not just their voices.
Right.
The models are the actors.
Yes.
Yeah, Ted looks like Ted. Yeah, pretty cool.
Very cool.
Stuff.
Any Christmas stuff you want to share?
Yeah, I mean horror related. I got a NECA Ghostface.
Nice.
I've got one of them, one of the two. I've got the second one now. So one I can keep in the box and one I can display, which is lovely. Who's in the box? Is it Billy or Stu? What do you think? Who's out partying and who's in the box?
Well, if you go by some theories, they're
both
in the box. Yeah.
I think Stu's out partying and Billy's in the box.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
He's more repressed.
Stu is the more active of the two.
Up front.
Yep.
So there you go. I got a little Ghostface action. I also got a friend of ours got Nikki and I a fun, the dogs playing poker, the classic.
Yes.
It's the horror icons playing poker. So it's got Chucky, Leatherface.
Oh, I think I've seen.
I've
seen stuff like that.
It's kind of a kind of a cool art style. So that was pretty fun. I got non-horror related stuff too. I did get the David Finch Moon Knight omnibus.
Okay.
Charlie Houston, David Finch one, which is very dark and very horror.
Charlie Houston, did he have a Black Panther run?
I believe so.
Yeah, I read a little bit of that a while back.
I believe
so.
And
I think it was before the Moon Knight run, maybe? I don't remember.
I think he was a novelist before he wrote comics.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I don't know. I could be totally messing that up. But his run on Moon Knight's very cool, very dark, very horror if you're interested in like kind of a blend of superhero and horror. So lots of psychological horror stuff going on there.
That's him and Finch is the art?
Finch starts the run. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And his stuff is my favorite. I've met him a couple times. He's like, I have 3 Finch sketches that he did for me, which is super cool. They're hidden away somewhere in this house. I don't even remember where I put them. But my first I had him do his Moon Knight one because I was like, I have to have a Finch Moon Knight, like hand drawn. Yeah. Phenomenal guy. If you get a chance to meet him at a convention or anything, I don't know if he's still doing those, but like, what a cool dude. Yeah. So
very nice.
Yeah, I did good.
Very nice.
Good. I'm happy.
All right. Anything else? Sorry, my beer is like I keep hitting it with my finger to make it go down. I have a beer over here, and it's just like it's slowly overflowing. Like the fuzz keeps coming up.
You just gotta keep an eye on it. Yeah, it's like a little volcano. I did get Nikki a couple horror things. I got her. You're familiar, of course, with the What We Do in the Shadows Jackie Daytona episode.
Yes.
When Mark Hamill's character comes into the bar and he orders 1 human alcohol beer.
Yeah.
Yes, I got her a beer glass that says 1 human alcohol beer. So I was pretty proud of that one. And it's not horror related, but my other one I'm very proud of is I got her a tank top, and it's an official Arby's tank top.
Okay.
And it's a curly fry, and he's super jacked.
Yeah.
And it says, "Do you even curl, bro?"
So. Have you or Nikki ever had the burger at Arby's?
Not yet.
Okay. I don't
know why you would.
Apparently this is like they've had this burger before. They've had burgers at Arby's before. I did not know this was a thing. I kind of want to try it. I had the
well, they had the meats.
Yeah, they had a really spicy sandwich I got from there a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
I don't think it was a spicy roast beef. I'm blanking on it though. It was like a Diablo sandwich, but it was
interesting.
It was pretty spicy. It was pretty hot.
Was it rattlesnake burrito hot?
Yeah. What did I get that was very spicy? I think it may have been that. I think it was that I went, oh, this is like rattlesnake burrito. Because I think it did have jalapenos on it, too.
Because you like spicy.
I do like
spicy. You
and
me are kind of on the same page. Yeah. Like, we like spicy. So I think what we need to do is, I know Nikki's game. I think on one of our bonus episodes, we need to make a list of questions for each other. Just kind of generic horror questions.
Yeah.
And we need to do the hot ones.
Do we want to do the hot chip, or do you want to do?
No. I have the entire set of 10 Hot Ones sauces.
Oh,
from the show Hot Ones.
Okay,
and they get hotter.
Let's do this on a day I don't have to work in the morning because I'll be up all night.
Yeah, they get rough. I've done them a couple times now, and I can tell you that though many of the people on that show are actors, they are not acting when they
do this. Yeah.
No. So yeah,
I think I may have told this story on the podcast before, but I worked with a guy who brought in some hot sauce one time from North Carolina. He went and visited North Carolina, and he's like, they've got the hottest sauce I've ever had there. And he brought it back, and he wanted to test it, and he was back. I said no.
You declined.
And then somebody else tested it, and they were like dying. They were like reaching, like looking for milk in the fridge. They were freaking out, and he was laughing. The guy that brought in the hot sauce, he was laughing so hard he was crying, and he goes, "Oh my God, I have to piss. Like, I'm going to pee myself if I don't go to the bathroom." And then, like, seconds later, I heard him from the bathroom of the ABC warehouse where we used to work, screaming in agony because the hot sauce was still on his finger, and he was touching his penis.
Yeah, you do not want to touch your penis.
Yes.
You do not want to touch your eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's rough. There's one. It's funny. There's one in particular in that set, and I've watched Hot Ones a ton. Like, if there's an actor on that I like, I'll watch it. Or a musician or whatever.
Right.
I think it's fun to watch him. He asks good questions too. It's actually a really good interview show. But
it disarms a celebrity. That's what
it does.
That's a good celebrity interviewer.
It's a nice icebreaker.
He's like Barbara Walters, rest in peace.
Yes,
he's very Barbara. Disarming when it comes to celebrity. He just uses hot sauce to do it.
That's right. Yep. But there's one there that is like ungodly hot. Like unbearably hot, and it just keeps coming back. It's miserable, but we'll do it at some point on the show. We'll have to make that happen. That'll be fun. Anyway, yeah. So here we are.
So, are you ready to get into some horror topics here?
Yeah, let's talk. Let's talk horror.
Let's start off with some sad news. Although he was 83, it was a good run, right? 83. You think 83 qualifies as a good run?
Yeah,
right?
I think post 80 is a decent run.
Yeah, is that your cutoff point for a good run?
I think it's a good run.
I think 80 is a good run too.
And for certainly for men, I think we have shorter life expectancies.
Right.
I think in general, I think historically we always have. So yeah, I'd say 80 is a good run.
83 is a good run. We're going to be talking about Ruggero Deodato.
Yes.
So he recently passed away. Last week, I believe. I think he passed away around, I think it would have been last week. Ruggero was born in 1929 in Potenza, Italy. So 83 years old, going on 84. Potenza, it's a city in southern Italy.
Okay.
I have never been. I looked around at it before. A lot of churches, a lot of cathedrals.
Okay.
Very pretty. He got his start in the 60s and 70s doing musicals and comedies. His first big movie was a couple of years before his biggest movie, which we're going to just talk about briefly for a second. But it has one of the great Italian movie titles, and all Italian movie titles are
There's
great.
some great ones, yeah.
But the title was Live Like a Cop, Die Like a Man.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a crime movie, and it features a scene that upset the Italian censors where a man's eyeballs get gouged and squished.
The Italians like their eyeball squishing.
Yes, they love eye trauma, don't they?
Yeah.
I've been watching. I've paused it for the holidays because I've been traveling a lot, and my parents aren't into Argento films.
No. Okay.
Interesting. Argento. A couple instances already. I'm only like halfway through his filmography. A few instances of eye trauma.
Eye trauma
stuff coming at the eye.
It's a favorite. Yes. Also, dog attacks are a favorite of Italian.
They love dog attacks.
Dogs, wolves, whatever. Yeah.
They like violence involving animals, which we'll talk about here in a second. Unfortunately,
icky.
He made a cannibal movie a few years before. Called Jungle Holocaust or Last Cannibal World. It's an oil prospector who was captured and imprisoned by a violent and primitive cannibal tribe in the Philippines rainforest. So he would revisit that a couple years later.
With his bigger hit, if you want to call it a hit. I don't.
Cannibal movies in Italy big in the 60s, 70s, 80s. But
True.
1980 was the movie he was most known for, and that is Cannibal Holocaust, the movie that made him famous or infamous. Yes, depending on how you look at it.
Yep.
It was filmed in the Colombian rainforest. It's an early example of like found footage movies.
Very
really.
Very
early. Some call it the first. I'm sure someone could go back and we'll find another one. But this, I think, to me, at least with what we're talking about, the horror genre is like the big early.
Well, it's the same situation as like you call Halloween the first slasher, but then you could go further back to Psycho, and you could go Peeping Tom. So there's always going to be something, I think, that you can trace.
And then are you like, are the Giallo movie slashers? Like, how do
of course.
Of course. So, but yes, I think for all intents and purposes, this was kind of the first like horror found footage movies in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So it follows an American film crew as they head deep into the jungle to capture footage of two reclusive cannibal tribes. The movie has it all. It's got stabbings, it's got shootings, it's got disembowelings, it's got genital mutilation,
impalement,
animal torture,
beheadings.
Yes. It was a controversial movie at the time, obviously. It made a lot of people angry. It was confiscated before its premiere, and Deodato was arrested on charges of obscenity. It would eventually find a release, as all things do. Willie, we have both seen Cannibal Holocaust. We have kind of a fun story about you attempting to be introduced. I don't know if you remember this.
Oh, man.
So
I want to say real quick, Deodato, by the way, had to go to court to prove that he didn't kill the actors. I'm just legitimately they had to track down the actors to bring them in to say no, we're still alive.
Yeah. So this movie, because
I just wanted to state that real quick.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So this movie, it's kind of as close to a snuff film in a lot of ways as you could get
without watching
or making a snuff film.
Yeah.
The Shudder series Cursed Films has a pretty decent episode on this one.
Okay.
My issue.
That's the second season then.
That's the second. It's like the last one. And he brings that up and talks about it. A couple of the actors have disputed that. Like one of the actors, like, I was never called in for this.
Okay.
So he's basically implying, but the director Deodato sticks by his story. But
it could
he was
be a hype
definitely,
thing. Yeah.
He was definitely called in front of the Italian government on charges of obscenity for what was in this movie.
There were legal issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I bring up the Curse films because it is an interesting kind of, it shows kind of the experience for the people involved in making this. It was not the most pleasant experience for a lot of these people.
No.
It caused a lot of scars, mentally, emotionally.
Maybe physically.
Deodato was a bit of, he's a madman. He was a madman.
Yeah, it reminded me of Kubrick.
Yes.
Where he would like push beyond any reasonable level of decency with his performers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like you mentioned, they talk a little bit about how during the animal scenes, which are horrifying.
Yeah, no, there is. I want to state Tim's referring to, of course, like the real animal deaths that are captured on screen. I mean, animals being killed and slaughtered.
There are a couple. There are a couple separate.
A turtle,
ones.
A monkey, a pig. There's all sorts of stuff.
Yes.
There is a version of the film. And I'm not saying it's by any means like an enjoyable experience to watch, regardless. But there is a version of the film you can watch that does that excises the actual.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, animal. And I would be certainly much more. I've seen the uncut, but I would be much more willing to, if I rewatched, I think I would watch the version without all the. I just don't need to see it anyway. But yeah,
no, because I think you can. So the thing with this movie is, I think in a weird way, it's all right.
Sorry.
No, you're good. No. You weren't interrupting. I want to go back now because this ties into what I was. You knew that I did not watch. This was like probably 10 years ago. I think this may have been before we. It was before we started this podcast, and you knew that I had not seen Cannibal Holocaust.
Yes.
And I believe this was like early days of like streaming or something. I can't remember because you're coming over and we're watching this.
Yes. You're not the first person I did that to. I'm sorry.
Yes. And I'm like, okay. Because like in a weird way, this is like if you want to get into like horror or if you want to become knowledgeable, especially with the found footage subgenre, like this is kind of an important movie.
Rite of passage.
Yeah, and you at least have to know about it. I don't necessarily. That's the thing is I don't know if I recommend watching it because of those scenes. But if there's a version with the scenes taken out,
there is.
Yeah, I can like if you are squeamish or even just like. Of good taste, maybe.
When it was on, I don't know if it still is, but when it was on Shudder, they had both
versions. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. If it still is, check. I assume they have both still. So
anyway, yeah, we started it and it like cut out like 10 or 15 minutes into the movie.
I remember
this. I
do remember this.
Even I don't know if it was. I don't think it was your internet. I think it was the copy that had been uploaded to like whatever streaming service we had found it on was not. Properly uploaded.
We didn't get past the first 15, so nothing really happened yet.
So I had to rewatch it on my own at some point later. So I have seen it since then, but I just wanted to bring that up because it is kind of important because Eduardo Sanchez, the director of Blair Witch, claims that he had not seen this movie before making the Blair Witch,
which could be true.
Yeah, for sure. But I think it also could be like it seeped into certain schools of. Filmmaking that they're very similar movies both in kind of plot and form and everything.
I mean I could believe that he hadn't seen it for sure. I buy that more than like a Suzanne Collins saying she never heard of Battle Royale,
right?
But I because I can see somebody coming up with the idea of like, wouldn't it be cool to do something that feels like a documentary, but it's and there have been other ones. Isn't Boggy Creek one of those?
In the interview with Eduardo Sanchez that I was watching, Boggy Creek and In Search of the Old Leonard Nimoy show is what he says he was mostly influenced by, and of course like Unsolved Mysteries and stuff like that too. So those were the things he says were a bigger influence on Blair Witch because he had not seen Cannibal Holocaust.
I'll buy it.
Yeah. I'll buy it too. Yeah.
I'll buy it.
I don't think he's lying. Sorry, it came out that way, but
you're a real piece of shit. Just kidding. Admit it.
So, what are your thoughts? I guess on Cannibal Holocaust. You a big fan?
I think it's kind of when you do strip away and it's admittedly hard to do when you do strip away the animal stuff, it is pretty solid like horror film. Like it works. It is legitimately unnerving and scary, and it does blur the lines between like reality and filmmaking in a lot of ways. And so I do think it's kind of I think it's a real achievement. I love the score. The score rules. And the finale, the end of the movie is like unreal. Like I remember just being like thinking about it for days afterwards. Being kind of scarred by it a little bit. So it certainly succeeds. It's just you have to get past that animal stuff. And I like that there has been an attempt to, because I think people say, I think it's worth watching. Yeah, the problem is I can't suggest watching it to anybody because of that stuff. Because I don't want to watch animals get murdered, killed on screen. It's horrible. I mean, it's not, I don't know.
Now, Ruggero said they ate him.
No, and I understand all.
I was laughing because he made a point of it in the interview. He's like, we ate the animals.
Everything was used. I know that, and that's great, and I that's fine, I guess. That they did that, but it's the whole thing.
I agree.
I understand why it was done. I get the mentality behind it was like that. If you had actual death in the movie, it would further blur the lines of what you're seeing when the people on people violence starts.
Yes,
and it does work in that respect.
Yes,
but it's just unnecessary. I think the movie would work just fine without. And like the fact that when you think about the stories, like he had that actor, he like forced that actor to shoot that pig.
He forced the actor to shoot the pig. He forced them to watch them with the turtle. Yeah, it's horrible.
I mean, that stuff's that's unconscionable. So I can't. Like I said, I cannot. Do I think it's a movie that is, if you can stomach it, that is worth watching once? Yeah, I do. I can't. I do think it is. But am I going to sit here and tell you need to see this? No, no. And I don't blame you for not.
Right.
So it's a weird one. It's hard to talk about almost. It's bizarre. You know what I mean?
Weird because
I like the movie. I think the movie actually works really well. But
also part of the reason I think it makes you feel hollow and gross and like awful is because of some of the stuff that happens in the movie that is not exactly the most pleasant thing to watch unfold. It's real stuff, but then like you said, it kind of then like when they show that stuff, like everything is on the table now. Everything's on the same level. All the, like the people and the animals are all on the same level. Like, what's the difference at this point? That's what's scary about it.
And in that sense, it does become. Like I said, I understand why the mentality behind what they did. I don't think it's defensible. I don't think I don't think in the grand scheme of things that making a movie is worth doing what they did or forcing people to do, but I can see why they did it. I understand the reasoning behind it. And does it work? Yeah, it does. It's a weird one. But they killed a real snake in Friday the 13th, so,
Oh, yeah. I mean, what's
legit.
The water buffalo in Apocalypse Now, is it?
That's legit, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's those old Westerns, horses died all the time on those
Milo and Otis, you ever read about that movie?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So, I mean, it's horrible things, and it's been saving up. I mean...
Doesn't make it okay.
It's one of the things, too, like, you watch that movie, and you may debate becoming like a vegetarian or a vegan after, because I know I did.
Might convert you.
I've given it a shot. I've given it a shot before. I can't do it. I just can't. I don't have it in me. I don't have the discipline.
You like Arby's too much.
I like Arby's too much, and I also like it's so much easier to just buy meat and chicken in the store than it is to like research what you can and can't eat as a vegetarian.
I know. I'm sorry to all those listeners who,
But yeah,
I used to proud of you for
giving it a shot. Yeah, I used to work with a guy who, or I used to live with a guy who worked at a butcher shop. And he would come home and tell some of the stories of the butcher shop. It was a humane butcher shop, but it's still like...
Still brutal. Yeah.
Still brutal.
I mean, it is what it is. You're killing animals.
It is what it is. So,
Nikki was a vegetarian for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then, I don't remember what broke her. I think it was chili. She finally went, I need some chili.
So I guess that's the horror movie yearbook advice is if you're like, I would really like to become a vegetarian, I just haven't had that push, watch Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, and if you are a vegetarian, you're like, I'm kind of over it.
Yeah.
Eat some chili.
Yes.
There you go.
So the Ruggero Deodato, he would go on to make quite a few movies after this, but this is the one he's most known for. He made like stuff like Body Count, and he would appear in Hostel Part 2. Eli Roth. Right. He and Eli Roth obviously was inspired by
just a little bit.
Yes, I mean the Green Inferno was essentially a tribute to a lot of these Italian.
That's a movie. That's a movie too. Whoa, boy.
Maybe we should talk about that one at some point.
We should.
Yeah. So there you go. All right. Moving on.
Yes. R.I.P. Mr. Deodato.
To an important figure.
Absolutely.
Speaking of, so this is like a different kind of violence we're going to talk about here.
I
watched both trailers. Did you watch the Green Band trailer of this one as well? The Evil Dead Rise trailer?
I don't fuck with Green Band trailers. If there's a Red Band trailer,
you're watching that?
That's what I'm watching.
The only reason I watched the Green Band trailer is because someone said there were different shots. There were different moments from the film in the Green Band, and there is.
Sure.
So
okay.
I've
not seen the Green Band.
It's good as well. They're both good trailers because this might be a good movie. I'm not going to do the trailer recap. So if you have not seen it, go watch it. Go watch the trailer. Both.
It's a good trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, but especially the Red Band if you can stomach it. And I think if you're listening to this podcast, you could probably stomach
It's gnarly.
So I love a good Red Band trailer. This is a Red Band trailer. It reminds me of Rambo's. I was going to say,
do you remember the Ultimate Red Band trailer? And you nailed it right away.
Rambo was the one. Because I was skeptical on Rambo.
I remember howling when I saw that thing.
Did Rambo have bodies attached to it, or is that just in my head? Or did I have bodies by Drowning Pool?
It might have been.
Yeah, that original one. I'm talking about the one.
I just remember, like, they included the shots of him on that, like, giant, like, machine gun on the back of the Jeep and people exploding.
Raining down fire, like a god from above.
I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm going to see this movie.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. And honestly, you know what? I was more looking forward to Evil Dead Rise than I would have been Rambo at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I watch this trailer and go, oh, hell yeah, I'm definitely watching this.
Oh, it looks sweet.
I would, like, if I were able to at this time, I would be like, I'm going to see this in a theater.
But you and I both liked Evil Dead 20, whatever
13?
It was. 13. All
right. So, yeah, I'm going to ask you a question about that then.
Yeah.
What do you think we've got here? I think on Twitter, I guess, Bruce Campbell went on and gave Kevin an intro to the teaser trailer a day or two ago where he said...
He's a producer on it, right?
Yeah, he basically said, like, this is a new story, it's a new continuity, but Sam and I think Rob Tapper, were all heavily involved in the making of this movie. Like, this is an Evil Dead movie.
I think that's what they said about 2013, too.
Yeah, and I would agree.
I would agree with that, yeah.
Yes. So they made sure, for whatever reason, 2013 didn't get a continuation. I don't know the reasons. If it was...
I think it made money.
Yeah. If it was just they couldn't get it together or what. And I know Ash vs. Evil Dead was way after that, though.
Yeah,
too.
It was.
There's plenty of time in between. So either way, there was no continuation of that. But what do you think we're dealing with here? Because the logo... the title card looks like the remake.
It does.
When I think
the
of the
vibe feels like the remake, right? Like the whole thing feels like that remake.
So yeah, I think the Green Band. There's a little bit more of that Evil Dead kind of irreverent, like of the
Evil Dead 2 stuff.
There's was this in the Red Band trailer where the Deadite goes eeny meeny miny mo?
No.
Okay, that's in the green. There's a scene in the Green Band where the devil or the Deadite goes eeny meeny miny mo. It's kind of a playful Deadite style thing. Felt more like the first couple movies than like an Evil Dead 2 than in the remake. Yeah,
sure. I think we're just dealing with they're making an Evil Dead movie. I don't think there's going to be any sort of tie to any existing thing. I don't think it's going to negate any existing thing. I don't think they're trying to make a Lego sequel or anything of that sort with this. I think they're just saying, let's do a new Evil Dead movie in a different setting than usual, which I love, by the way. Like, doing this outside of the cabin is phenomenal. I think they're just making a new Evil Dead movie and just letting this filmmaker cut loose with it and just having fun with it. I mean, it's got all that I think they know that the check marks you need to have for an Evil Dead movie, right? And I think they're certainly hitting those based on what I saw in the Red Band trailer. I don't think that this has any ties to anything, and that might be good. I mean, it might just be fresh. I did for a moment go, is this going to be tied to that 2013 movie a little bit? Is there going to be something going on there? It almost felt like maybe.
So the speculation.
There is speculation. Okay.
Yeah, and
Interesting.
So in Army of Darkness, there are 3 Necronomicons, right?
Are there? It's been a while. I haven't seen Army of Darkness in years, so you'll have to.
Essentially, what the speculation, and this has been a kind of a theory for a while, is that they are alternate timelines branching out. So I guess kind of like I wouldn't necessarily call it a multiverse deal, more as like a alternate timeline thing.
So
I guess a multiverse.
If there are 3 Necronomicons in Army of Darkness, as you said, there might be. So the idea would be that the one from the Ash stuff is one of them. The one from the 2013 movie is another one.
Oh yeah, it's where he's making the choice between. Yeah.
That's right. And then the one from this is the third. Then
that's kind of some of the speculation. So this could be like the third branch.
It's kind of fun
because you do see the Necronomicon in the trailer. It is a little bit different looking.
Now I've not seen Ash vs. Evil Dead. Is it firmly a sequel to Army? Like, do they reference Army of Darkness?
Yes.
So he has been back in the medieval times,
right? Okay. So I mean, it's kind of glossed over, but like that is in that continuity.
It officially is. Okay.
Yeah. So then there's that post-credit scene in the remake, right?
But that was deleted.
That's right. Yeah.
The actual you hear Bruce at the end of the credits say something, right? Like Hail to the King or Groovy or whatever. But there was a deleted scene where he rolled up, and she jumped in the car with him. But that was cut. So we can't really count that. The only thing that was still in the remake, I'm calling it a remake even though it's really not, was the car is visible. Like, but I don't know if that's meant to say like, oh, this is the same cabin, or if that was just like a reference to Sam Raimi using that car in all of his stuff.
But here's the other thing. In this movie, there are flashback shots to a cabin in the woods. So, and then you do hear, and I think this is in the Green Band trailer, when they're playing, I don't know if this is the Red Band, but they're playing the audio recording, like the little girl stumbles upon it.
Yeah, I heard part of that.
And it's Professor Nobi.
Is it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be that same voice.
Well, shit.
So if the idea is that maybe they brought the Necronomicon from that cabin to this high-rise, maybe that cabin is like a nexus point in the Evil Dead universe.
See, that's cool. But the thing is, they don't need to go any further than that, right?
Exactly.
And I like that.
Yep. I don't want a big like crossover between the 3, but I think this is a franchise that you can get away with stuff like that.
Yes. I don't think you need direct sequels.
Right.
The through line should be the Necronomicon.
That's the thing is like Evil Dead 2 is essentially a remake of Evil Dead 1.
Is.
It's not a direct sequel, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the continuity has always been wacky.
Always been wacky.
In these movies. So
yeah, I'm down with that. I like that.
Yeah, that's kind of the speculation. And yeah, I think this is unlike we've kind of joked about like you could almost get away with it at the Halloween movies at this point, like the multiverse of Michael Myers madness, but like I call him Michael Moyers.
Michael Moyers.
Anyway, the other thing, I thought the Necronomicon looked really good. The cabin stuff we mentioned. This is Lee Cronin. He did a movie called A Hole in the Ground, which was quite good. Yes. I watched it a few years back. He's Irish guy, right?
Yeah.
But the movie that ran through my head actually wasn't that one when I was watching this. I think the most successful for me personally, like Raimi produced movie, may be Crawl, the alligator movie.
Crawl's sweet,
and it's essentially a small family story, just with alligators, and that's kind of what this feels like a family.
I dig that too. Yeah. I dig that too. I like that about the trailer. I was like, man, this is cool. We've got the family dynamic, which I really like. It's going to give us hopefully some emotional stuff going, like some emotional resonance in terms of like, you know, what do you do when mom is possessed? And we've got some kids in peril stuff. I think this could be a ton of fun.
We get some eye trauma in this.
Oh boy,
the
we get a cheese grater.
Okay, so
that got me the worst.
That was really good though too, because that is a perfect trailer shot. Because like I wanted to see the rest of it because it doesn't show you that going across.
But you see her reaction to it.
You see the reaction, and you also see it leading up to it, but you don't see it, and you know in the movie they're going to show it, and like it's one of those things like I don't want to look, but I do want to look.
I know. Have you ever hit yourself with a cheese grater before?
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
Sucks.
What's the other thing I always get myself? Well, I guess a zester. It's the same thing. Same thing, but
dude, it like rips the whole. Ugh.
What's the thing that always gets my like? Maybe it is a cheese grater. I always get like right on there.
Like ugh. No thanks. Gnarly stuff. Reminded me of Cabin Fever.
Yeah.
Shaving the leg.
Shaving the legs. Yeah. That's a good bit, isn't it?
Yeah. Yikes. This has been a really gross episode of our show.
So it's like two different. It's almost like what I was talking about. It's two different kinds of violence.
Yeah.
There's the cannibal Holocaust violence,
which is meant to feel real because some of it is.
And then Evil Dead violence is you're kind of meant to like squirm and go and laugh, but it's just, and have fun.
But laugh after. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not meant to have an existential crisis after an Evil Dead movie. Maybe after Cannibal Holocaust, but
anything else on the Evil Dead Rise?
No, it looks great.
Very good. Yeah.
I'm kind of in with Evil Dead at this point. Well, I guess I didn't watch Ash, but I didn't have stars, so like I didn't have access to it.
I'll let you borrow. I've got the DVD. It's a fun watch.
Yeah, I want to watch it.
I wish I could play. I wish. Yeah, maybe I'll buy you the game someday because I want someone to play. The game is a blast.
I've heard.
I love the game. I want to pick it back up. I haven't played it in a bit.
I've heard. Yeah, no. I'm kind of like Evil Dead's one of those franchises where like they can kind of do anything. I think that's Raimi's. That's all because of Raimi. Like Raimi proved that you can kind of just do anything you want with the franchise.
Yep.
When he did Army of Darkness, that was like, okay, we can do whatever we want. Like we can go nuts.
Yeah.
Evil Dead's so cool, and it's so it's a franchise that is really malleable. Like you can set it in different time periods. You can do alternate universes. You can put it in different settings, like physical settings. I think the world is your oyster when you're doing an Evil Dead thing. I'm just happy that they are breaking away from the cabin.
Yeah.
I think it's good to do that at this point. So, yeah, no, I think it's great. Yeah, I'm super pumped.
Cool. All right, let's move on now. One more thing before we talk a little bit about 30 Days of Night.
Of course.
Tell me about these Scream posters that dropped last week. I saw them. I saw them both. I only knew of one.
Okay.
But I saw the other one today.
I will throw this out there. Potential... this is pure speculation on my part. So when I say potential spoilers, I mean I could be right about something, which I probably won't be. And then you could go, oh, Willie spoiled it for me because he would happen to be right. Yeah. I don't know anything beyond...
Just speculation based off of what's available, yeah.
There's the first poster was it was Ghostface in Times Square with all the billboards and lights and stuff. And there were some fun things in there. But the interesting one was it said wrongly accused the musical.
Yeah, it had like all the different like theater signs.
Yeah, very Broadway, it said wrongly accused the musical. And there's been a rumor going around that this movie is going to deal with that the big theme / maybe motive / vibe going on here is much like the last one riffed on toxic fandom. This one's going to riff on conspiracy theories and QAnon stuff. And that there is a subsection of people that truly believe that Sam, our lead from Scream 5, was the actual killer in Scream 5 because she is the daughter of Billy Loomis. And that the killers are going to be, killers are going to be like inspired by this conspiracy theory that Sam is. So that the wrongly accused the musical thing
is referring to Sam.
Maybe ties into that. The cooler, I think, and more interesting poster, and I want to frame that son of a bitch and put it on my wall. If John Morell's listening to this, can we make that happen? Is the Subway poster. And I'm a sucker for maps. I'm a sucker for...
You've got is it the Resident Evil?
I've got a Resident Evil Raccoon City map, and I love it. Like
it's sweet.
Every time I go pee in that bathroom, I like that map. I also got a Jason Takes Manhattan Subway poster, which I'd love to put the Scream one next to.
So real quick, you sent me this poster.
This one, I did not know about the other one previously, but it was released before, but I didn't know about it.
But the other one ties into it because I think it's similar. I looked at this and I go, oh, that's cool fan art. And it's not because it's not like it's looks like a not professional poster or anything.
It just it doesn't look like a generic like bunch of heads on a poster.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say because it's more that posters suck nowadays.
Yes,
and like
this is artistic.
These two posters are cool and unique. Like it's the subway lines of New York City shaped like the Ghostface mask. And I go, that's really cool. What cool fan art. And then he told me like, no, that's a real poster. I'm like, holy shit, that's awesome.
Even cooler, yeah. Well, and it's cool because it's each line on the subway, each rail line is a different color. And up top, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so each line is colored and corresponds with one of the movies.
Right.
And along the lines, there's stops, different stops, and each one is per somebody who died in that movie. And there's two very interesting things to note about this.
Yes.
The first one is that we see on Kirby Reed's stop, Hayden Panettiere's character from Scream 4, we see it as marked as closed. And of course, we know she's coming back. So that was one where like we always thought she was dead because there was no reason to think otherwise, but obviously that wasn't the case. So Wes always said she lived.
Okay.
By the way, I didn't realize that until recently. Like Wes has always said, like, "Oh no, she survived."
Okay.
So that was fun.
So you liked her as much as the rest of the fandom?
Did. Kirby rules. I hope she's sweet in this. I hope she's not a killer. I'm gonna be so bummed if she's one of the killers.
Yeah.
I will be. I'll be betrayed. I feel betrayed.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I hope not. The other one that's interesting. Have you heard about this other little bit?
Is this the stew?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard about this, and I think this is very interesting because these things aren't done by mistake.
All of the little dots on all of the, minus Kirby's, which is marked closed, all the little dots are white on all the stops, much like most subway maps are labeled. Stu Macher's is filled in with a little reddish, little pink.
A little reddish pink, yeah.
Why is that? I have theories. Can I go theory time?
Absolutely.
Okay. I think, one, this is just the marketing team having fun with fans who are doing the whole could Stu be alive thing.
Yes, me.
And me, too. I think he's dead, but I think it's fun.
It's good to dream.
It is. Two, I think this ties right back into that conspiracy theory thing. There is a very brief Easter egg in Scream 5 when Richie is on YouTube watching Dead Meat.
Yes.
And there's a little thumbnail. There's one about Kirby being alive and doing an interview. And there's one, did the real Stu Macher survive? And It's a little thumbnail, and it's him with a TV on his head from the end of Scream 1. I think that the killer or killers could have some sort of belief that Stu is still, like, I think they're going to tie, like, in a meta way, tie the fan theory that Stu is alive in the Scream franchise into
the motive.
I think it'd be a ton of fun.
Yeah. I think that's cool too because it's a way to keep Stu alive without like bringing him physically back. So that's kind of fun.
It could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You could go even further, and you could maybe do something fun where you could bring Matthew Lillard back in a sense without bringing him back. Because I don't think they shouldn't bring Stu back. I'll be honest with you. Like, to me, that's like.
Yeah, but did you see that fan art, that fan poster where he's got like the scarred up face?
I think
Do you think they could bring him back and he could have like shocker powers, like Horace Pinker powers?
It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
But like, let's be honest. You can kind of once they do that, we're jumping the shark with the Scream movies at this point, right? If we haven't already, like, we've suspended plenty of disbelief that like 9 human beings so far have tried to kill the same person wearing the same costume. So we've suspended plenty of disbelief with this franchise, but then we're jumping into fantasy. Like,
even the ghost Billy in the last movie.
I can suck it up.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's not really a ghost. It's her.
It's her.
Hallucinating.
But even that we're seeing it is weird. But you know what? It did that. Ghosts appear in Scream 3, right? The ghost of her mom. She sees the ghost of her mom.
She has the dream.
She has the
Phantom
dream. So
Maureen
we have crossed that through in the past.
We have.
And Wes did it. So it's
my
all fair.
issue is not Stu being alive. My issue is that this is the 5th movie after the first, and no one's once mentioned that he is
right.
Like, no one's mentioned it. I have a hard time.
It should have been brought up before.
Probably.
But especially, right? Like Dewey should have mentioned it on a phone call at some point.
Like, hey, has anybody checked on old Macher in prison to make sure he hasn't?
Yep.
Yeah. So, that being said, if it happened, I'd howl in the theater. I wouldn't even care. I'd be like, oh my God, it's Matthew Lillard.
What if it's a cult that resurrects him?
Even better. No. I'm
I'm mostly joking.
I've heard a lot of like speculation about like they make a mention in Scream 5 that Kyle Gallner's character from Scream 5 is Stu's nephew. Oh, he was the son of Leslie Macher, Stu Macher's sister. Why specifically mention Leslie Macher that specifically? I'm wondering if because we are clearly doing some homages to Scream 2 here, It's the anniversary of Scream 2, by the way, this year.
Yeah.
Or last year, I think it was. I'm wondering if maybe they're going to do a Mrs. Loomis type, like, relative of Stu's. Like, Leslie Mocker is going to be one of the... You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or, what if this killer is like a QAnon conspiracy theorist and thinks that Sam's the killer, right? And they are the sibling or relative of a victim from the previous movie.
Okay.
Even if said victim is Richie or Amber, and they are out to get Sam because they think they know the truth. They're convinced.
Okay.
That she's really the one. They're going to make her pay for getting away with it.
Yeah, I like that.
They could do some fun stuff with this.
I like that. I like the idea. Honestly, jokes aside, I like the idea of Stu being kind of like an inspiration to whatever, or like a, yeah.
I think you can bring, I was really hoping, I've talked to you about my Scream 5 idea where they would find video diaries of Stu's. I was hoping that was going to be a way to bring Lillard back. They could de-age him or whatever they need to do. I don't like that, but it is what it is. And have him...
Well, they did it with Billy.
Yeah, and have him be a presence in the movie without being brought back. I'm wondering if they can make something happen here with that.
Right. Like maybe they find...
something, or maybe even the killer is so batshit that they like channel Stu.
Yeah.
Maybe they use the voice changer from 3, and you can get some Lillard performance.
That would be fantastic.
Anyway, so there's a still, right?
There's a set photo that just came out, an official photo, right?
Yes, the official, yeah. That mask is completely different from the other ones we've seen. It is not the cracked, weathered mask, and it is not the very clean white Scream 5 mask.
Okay, yeah, explain this to me, because I looked at it and I go, it's a picture of Ghostface. I haven't been keeping up. I saw the weathered.
Yeah, which is very obviously different. This one is not that pure white like the ones we've had in the last couple movies, where it's like that straight ghostly white. Because the early the Scream 1 and Scream 2 masks had a little bit of like yellowing or creaminess to the white. Okay. I know that sounds silly, but it's true.
Oh, yeah.
And the eye shape was a little different. And if you notice on this one, the chin curves up a bit. And lately they've been straight. Okay. This from people who are much more knowledgeable than me at Scream masks. To me, they all kind of look the same for the most part. This is like a Scream 3 mask, like 100% is what people I think are saying.
Okay.
Like, and people have also taken that image and like color corrected it and stuff, and there's a ton of bloodstains on the robe. And some people are saying that the bloodstains match up with like gunshots that Roman Bridger took in Scream 3.
Okay. So he's wearing...
somebody's wearing Roman's full costume.
Yeah. As a true... And that ties in with some of the speculation that this is... Yeah.
Somebody who is trying to emulate or pay tribute to
all of the past.
I wonder if it's going to be a blend of like the QAnon / conspiracy theory stuff and the true crime stuff.
Yeah, the obsession with true
like
crime.
If you look at like Making a Murderer was like the big true crime thing, right? When that thing came out, it started the new wave of true crime like obsession. I think Making a Murderer, and most of Making a Murderer was people online like speculating, oh, he totally did it, or no, he didn't do it.
Yeah,
I think we're definitely playing with that in this.
Okay,
and I love it. I just can't wait to see Ghostface with a shotgun.
The sequel to Hobo with a shotgun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ghostface with a shotgun. Josie's very excited for Scream 6, by the way.
Oh, is she? I wanted to... Oh, that reminds me.
She loves Ghostface.
I wanted to play a game on here. Maybe I will next time, which is something Josie said or a movie on Tubi.
Oh!
Because the other day when I came over, what were the things she said? Balloon Monster.
Yes, Balloon Monster and... something Baby Zombie something?
Oh, yeah, it was Baby Zombie with a
drill.
Baby Zombie with a drill.
Baby Zombie with a drill.
And that's when you go, is that a Tubi movie?
Is that Tubi original? Yeah.
So make sure when you're talking.
I'll get a notepad out.
Yeah, start writing them down, because I'm betting you can find Baby Zombie with a drill or something close to it on Tubi.
Not far off. Could be with a saw.
If she ever says anything regarding any sort of clown, it is on Tubi.
Yeah.
She has been watching Tubi.
Yes, she might. No, she has asked for 2 things. Her birthday's in March. Mm-hmm. She's still coming down from Christmas, but she recognizes her birthday's not that far out. And so she's already starting to kind of like ask about, for stuff. She's reaching that age where she's starting to understand, like, I can ask for things and I might get them.
Right.
And she's asked for 2 things for her birthday. The first one is a puppy.
Okay.
Which is not going to happen. I'll say it on record right now.
Okay.
It will not be happening.
Right.
And the second is she wants, not in these words, she wants Roger L. Jackson to send her a birthday message. So I'm going to pay for a cameo for Josie for her 5th birthday from Roger L. Jackson.
Okay.
In the Ghostface voice to talk to her for her birthday.
That's fantastic.
Because she really wants, she goes, I want the real Ghostface to tell me happy birthday. So, okay, I'll do what I can. So.
Yeah, make sure you let me see that one.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if I can make it happen, I'm going to make it happen. Yes, I will do it. I'm sure he's going to go, what are these maniacs doing?
No, those people on Cameo, believe me, they get some weird stuff, I'm sure.
5th birthday?
I mean, I would think it's kind of neat. I think it's kind of yeah.
Sure. I mean, he was the voice of Mojo Jojo from Powerpuff Girls.
Oh,
well.
Was he?
Yes, he was Mojo Jojo.
Mojo Jojo.
But that's
like Powerpuff Girls, good show.
Yeah, that's not who she wants to hear from, though.
She wants to hear from Ghostface.
100%. She asks me to requests that I read bedtime stories
in the Ghostface voice.
Yes. I'm not like I
yeah.
I was reading a Peppa book, Peppa Pig.
Yeah.
You familiar with Peppa Pig?
I mean, I know I'm not familiar. I wouldn't say I'm familiar.
Children's
I'm
animated
aware,
show.
Yes, of Peppa Pig's existence.
Little girl pig.
Yeah.
British girl. She's a pig named Peppa.
Peppa Pig British.
Yes.
Okay.
She is. Yes. And she one night out of the blue, she goes, "Hello, Ghostface." What? She goes, will you read the Peppa story? And I was like, what, Joe? And she goes, will you read the Peppa story as Ghostface? And I was like, okay. So there's a video of me. I'll have to show it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you haven't shown me this.
Have I not?
No.
Yeah. It was pretty ridiculous. Yeah. I did when Peppa gets angry in the story, I made sure I want a Mr. Snuggle Snail. You know, like, very aggressive. She loved it. Anyway, moving on.
We should talk about this movie real quick. So last episode, I panicked and I go, like, we should watch something next time. And it was cold. We were supposed to be getting a blizzard. And I was walking around your thing, and I went, "Oh my gosh, let's watch 30 Days a Night." I've not seen
perfect movie for this time of year. Well, I mean, we've been okay so far. Let's,
yeah, for sure. Actually, yeah, it's not been like that at all. Although where I was this past weekend up north
was very much like that.
It was very much like it was essentially 30 Days of Night, without the vampires that I know of. So
your uncle looks just like Mark Boone Jr. So like a taller, lankier version.
He does. It's weird.
If you stretched him out.
There are times when he is a spitting image of James Hetfield too. It's weird. He like goes
Interesting.
He goes back and forth. Especially when like
is it the hair? Does he cut his hair a certain way?
When they both get like when James Hetfield has the shortcut and my uncle has the shortcut, it is straight up like the two of them.
But when I saw your uncle last, he had a longer hair, like the Mark Boone Jr. length.
Yeah, and I think he had like glasses on too.
And I was like, he looks like a taller, more in shape Mark Boone Jr.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, sorry.
So. Yeah, so I picked 30 Days a Night.
Yes.
We watched it. So we should talk about it just a little bit here.
Of course.
Let's just, as we say, free ball it here.
Yeah.
We're not going to dive in depth.
I don't think we need to.
Let me do the plot here, I think.
Sure.
After an Alaskan town is plunged into darkness for a month, is attacked by a bloodthirsty gang of vampires. Directed by David Slade, written by Stuart Beatty, Brian Nelson, and then based on... a screenplay was also Steve Niles. He wrote the graphic novel, which I read and we'll talk about a little bit. Josh Hartnett, Melissa George, Danny Houston. I have not seen this since it came out on DVD. Willie, have you seen this?
Same here.
Yeah.
2007?
2007, yes. This was released in 2007. There was like a... I like this chair now because I'm very comfortable, as you can see.
Good. Yeah, you look like you're really... what I like about watching you right now is you're kind of like feeling the vibe. Like you're trying to figure out like your...
I'm vibing a little bit.
Yeah,
you're right.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, this is a vibes podcast, and I like to vibe.
Yeah.
There was a run of like I'm trying to find all of the run of like vampire stuff.
Yes.
In the late 2000s, because there was this. Thirst was one of them. Daybreakers. There was a couple big ones. The Twilight movies, but True Blood was on around this time as well. I think it started in 2008.
Vampires are very cyclical. So
yes.
There's a very right now we're in like a low. a low point.
But then this coming up year, we have two Dracula-related movies coming out.
Isn't there a Let the Right One In series as well?
There is a Let the Right One In series. I watched the first episode, and I thought it was kind of boring.
Well, Let the Right One In is a little bit... Like, I love the movie, but, like, it's a little boring. Like,
I believe that was the other... I believe the original version came out around this time as well, of Let the Right One In.
It was a bit of a resurgence, yeah.
But Let the Right One In, it's kind of boring, and it's also, like, it lends itself more to a movie. I know it was based on a book, though, too. So.
It doesn't need to be a series.
I'm kind of with you. It's too. I think it's too slow for a series story.
Yeah.
So anyway, this came out around that time. This also came out at around. It was before. So this, I think, the graphic novel was 2003 or 4.
Yes.
This was. I mean, there have been horror comics forever, decades. But I kind of think there was a bigger boom around the time Walking Dead came out, right? So this was pre.
I think, well, it's just like anything, right? So, like, you have a smaller publisher, well, a small-ish publisher, not one of the big two, that has this huge, just ridiculous hit on their hands with this little zombie comic. And so publishers, just like movie studios, go, whoa, let's start.
Horror is hot.
Yeah, let's do it, you know. And sometimes it works out for them, and sometimes it doesn't. So
yeah, there's been some really great horror stuff.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this came out. The graphic novel came out in 2003, 2004. It was originally supposed to be a movie. Like, he was scripted at. Like,
I think that was the plan.
He got rejected, and then he made a comic book with Ben Temple-Smith,
who's phenomenal. Phenomenal.
My opinion on this movie is, I like it. I don't love it.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason I don't really love the graphic novel either, but I love the art. I think the art
so good.
Makes the whole thing work for me.
It's gorgeous.
The movie does a good job of trying to capture that.
Some of the vampire designs work, like where you're like, oh, that's close.
Yes.
That's as close to live action as you can get for like with like a Temple-Smith illustration.
And they try to do some of like the kind of like, I don't know, I want to call it watercolor. I'm not great with art, but like painted quality that he has, kind of the reds and the darks.
There's elements of this bleeding of shade. And color, like where it almost feels like a painting in moments there. Like, I think that they do succeed with that in
the movie. Yeah, there are certain shots. One of the overhead shots, if I recall correctly, does that. And there are a couple shots towards the end. I think of the oil and stuff too. And the fire.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff in there for sure.
So yeah,
I saw when it first came out. I waited for DVD. I didn't go see it in the theater. It was like a free rental at the video store for me. You know, I was a few years deep in the video store.
The old R3.
The old R3s. What were they called R3s for? Did anybody ever like get an answer on that?
See if I can look this up while you continue.
And I remember liking it and going, oh, that was pretty cool. Like, what I remember taking away from the movie the first time I saw it was, man, I love that we've gotten back to just vicious vampires. Because it felt like a lot of vampire lore had been romanticized. I understand I understand why people like the romantic vampire. I get it. I think there's an allure to that. I think there's a. I don't mind that stuff, but it was nice to see like these animalistic, just like hungry, nasty vampires again.
Yeah,
and I really dug that, and that was my takeaway. Was like, cool, back to basics. Like, these guys are, tearing shit up. I really dug that. I gotta be honest, like. Years after, like, as the years passed, I kind of just lumped 30 Days of Night in with a lot of stuff that came out during this period, where it was just kind of like an okay mid-2000s horror movie,
right?
Because a lot of stuff in this time period just kind of feels okay to me. And then I rewatched this time around, and I went, this movie's kind of sweet. I don't love it, like, it's kind of sweet.
Yeah,
like, kind of rules.
Yeah. It's bigger than I remember too in a lot of ways.
But it's also kind of intimate in certain ways because you don't have a huge cast. I think the performances are all strong. I think that you get enough characterization from the handful of characters you get to spend time with to where you do care about them enough to like not want to see them get killed off. Like the old man, I think about the old man in this movie, the one who's kind of senile. And like his character, like I always, man, like they pull at your heartstrings enough with him where you're like, oh man, I don't want to see him. Like, he's a liability, but you're also like, oh, please, like, save him, I think the vampire designs are sweet. Danny Houston rules.
Danny Houston is kind of like the main. Is that Marlowe?
Yes.
Is he Marlowe? Yeah.
He's like tearing it up in this movie. Yeah, he's awesome. He's scenery chewing. He never speaks a word of English in this movie. He speaks like a vampire language, which is sweet. I don't actually know what the language is he's speaking. It could be. I don't. Did you know? Was it a fictional language?
It was a fictional language that they made up for the movie.
Just for the movie. Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Cool. He kills it. Literally and figuratively. The cast rule, like it's just a ton of fun. There's some really solid action scenes in the movie that I forgot about. Like the Mark Boone Jr. whooping ass scene is like so sweet. Where he's like riding that weird snowplow saw thing that can only exist in Alaska.
Yeah.
Like what purpose that thing serves, I don't know. But like I'm sure it exists in Alaska.
I wanted to go back to the language thing because it's in the trivia I read. But it was created for the film with the help of a linguistics professor at a New Zealand university. So like they created an entire language for the film. Sorry,
cool.
I remember that thinking it was a cool fact, and I wanted to make sure I got that right.
Love that stuff. Danny Houston, like I believe it. I'm like, wow, okay.
Right.
And Danny Houston's like kind of above this role. I hate to say that.
Was he at the time?
No.
Yeah.
But like now I look at it and I'm like, man, like Danny Houston wouldn't take this role now.
You know what's weird is
but it's really sweet.
That prompts me to remember, like, Josh Hartnett has carved out a weird kind of genre career in a lot of ways.
Like kind of under the radar,
because he was what was the Showtime show I'm blanking on? Penny Dreadful.
Penny Dreadful. Which is a sweet show.
He's in this.
The
H2O,
Faculty, of course.
The Faculty. Yeah, he's carved out this like genre.
I like Hartnett.
Me too. I like him in this.
Yeah,
he's very very clean towards the end of this movie, though. Like, he's still very like put together, and like he's like Bill. Remember at the end of Ghostbusters when Bill Murray walks out and he's got none of the Stay Puft stuff on him.
That's one of the best jokes in that movie. It's one of the best jokes in that movie. Yes. He's the one who deserves all the Stay Puft.
Yes, and he gets away with it, and it is probably tied into like Bill Murray being like, I'm not
getting that shit on me. Yeah. Yet knowing what we know about Bill now, no, Hartnett kind of rules. I really think he's very underrated. He really is. But yeah, no, I think the movie's like a ton of fun. Like I love the concept of the vampires showing up to this town for a reason. I love the idea of this like herald of the vampires showing up, and like Ben Foster, he's like the Silver Surfer of these vampires. He shows up and he's like,
all right, we need to
setting shit up. Ben Foster.
We need to talk about Ben Foster.
Ben Foster's insane.
He has never given a normal performance, right? Has he ever given a normal performance?
He has.
X-Men 3?
Yes, and he sucks.
He's terrible.
He's terrible in that movie.
But this was around Alpha Dog, one of my favorite like video store rentals of the 2000s.
I actually like Alpha Dog.
Oh, me too. I like Alpha Dog a lot.
Yeah. But it is a video store movie. That is for me.
He is intense in Alpha Dog.
Batshit. Like, and then Hostage. Have you ever seen Hostage?
Yeah.
He's batshit in that too.
What is Ben Foster? We're texting each other. Is he good or not?
That's the thing. Like, is Ben Foster a good actor? I don't know. I don't know that.
What?
Because he's
attempting to do like a Creole style accent.
I think
because he goes, I'm gonna butcher, but thank you for the plastique.
Yeah, he is just Ben Foster is a force of nature.
And he's not even in this movie very long.
No.
So that was the thing is
we lose him too early almost.
I completely forgot about him in this movie. I texted you that, and I go, oh my God, because he showed up early in this movie, and I go, oh my God, Ben Foster in this movie. I just, like, it clicked with me. I remember thinking he was funny back then, and then he dies really early, and I go, he made such an impression on me, apparently.
Yeah.
About 5 minutes.
So I think he's good. I'm pretty sure he's a good actor, but like,
I think he's perfect.
He's good. He's just really good. He's particularly good at playing people that are absolutely unhinged.
Right.
Yeah.
Which Angel in X-Men 3
is like the opposite. Like, it's so against type for him.
Yeah.
And it's not a good...
Yeah, it's not good it's not good casting.
No, he doesn't even look like Angel to me.
No.
Angel should be like
he's a pretty boy.
A babe.
Yeah.
Right? He should be like a total like
Angel, the character, especially the one they were portraying, was never unhinged. He was a rich, pretty boy.
Yeah.
And he was that was kind of what made him interesting at times, is there was an insecurity.
Ben Foster is not that guy.
No, Ben Foster is not that.
But Ben Foster was kind of a hot actor at the time.
Yeah, yes.
So they...
Yeah, he was probably tied in with 20th Century Fox. Yeah, anyway.
Yep. But anyway, I really enjoyed this. Ben Foster is a huge standout for me. Yeah. Mark Boone Jr., look,
You're a fan?
You tell me, dude, he rules. My favorite Mark Boone Jr. performance, I'm going to tell you about this. I got really into Sons of Anarchy.
Okay. Yeah. Stephen King is an actor on that, right?
He is.
Yeah.
Peter Weller also.
Is he?
You need to watch something. Honestly, it's kind of sweet.
Yeah, I probably
because it's skeevy.
Yeah.
It's like kind of over the top, but it's also like it kind of sucks you in. You go, you know what? I'm lost in the majesty of TV right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Perlman's in it.
Well, there you go.
He's sweet in it. Anyway, I got super into Sons of Anarchy. I binge watched the first however many seasons before the final season aired on. I think it was Showtime.
Or was it
FX? FX. Sorry, yeah. FX. So I watched, let's say, the first 5 seasons. I don't remember how many. I think there's 6. Binge watched them because everybody kept saying, watch Sons of Anarchy. And I said, okay, fine, I'll do it. And I was like, man, this show rules. Fuck yeah. By the end, I was going, okay, it's time to end it. I still enjoyed it, but I was going, it's kind of like Stranger Things, where I'm like,
it's good to wrap it up.
We got to wrap it up now.
I just started Cobra.
I love it. Cobra Kai, yes.
I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I
love it. I still enjoy it. I'm having a great time with the characters. Time to move on.
I'm okay to say goodbye to these
people. It's time
now.
to say goodbye. That's how I felt by yeah. Anyway, Mark Boone Jr. is on that show, and he's just such a delight. Like, I just fell in love with that character. And I remember I've seen this guy in 100 things, but that was the time where I was like, okay, Mark Boone Jr. is he's the man. Like, he rules in this show. But my favorite performance of his is not in the show. It's in the during the. They did an after show, like a Talking Dead.
Yeah.
For Sons of Anarchy for the finale. They had all the characters and actors on throughout the course of history of the show, and Mark Boone Jr. was on, and he was wasted drunk. I mean, annihilated, incoherent, and it was so sweet because everybody was like, "Mark, you gotta," and he was like, "I don't give a shit." And he was like, "Dude, it was so sweet. It was live. He was so cool." I'll send you a clip.
I do like drunk people on TV.
Oh, he ruled.
Yeah.
Because he was like, fuck it. Yeah, it was a good show. Fuck it.
You see they made Anderson Cooper and the other guy, Andy Cohen.
Not drink?
They said you can't be ripping shots anymore on
TV.
Well,
Andy Cohen was ripped last year.
Yeah, he was flipping off Ryan Seacrest.
It was sweet. So why? What's the problem?
It wasn't my
Instead we have Don Lemon, who doesn't even know when midnight hits. This dummy.
Don Lemon. Instead of Don Lemon.
Don Lemon.
Is that how he pronounces it now?
I think so,
He's
right?
trying to class it up?
It's like
I always thought it was Don
Eric
Lemon.
LaSalle. Not Eric. It's Don Lemon. I thought it was Lemon. Is it Lemon?
I thought it was Don Lemon.
Is it Lemon?
You know what? He may be pronouncing it Don Lemon
I think
now.
it's Lemon.
Well, so I saw him because you're talking about he was down in New Orleans this year. Did you see that?
Yeah, and he effed up.
Maybe.
Well, he didn't F up. CNN effed up, but
did it?
It wasn't his fault.
I caught it later on. I flipped over to Don Lemon, which is how I will be calling him, even if it's not.
Did you hear about that though? They missed the cue.
Did they? No, see,
they missed the ball drop cue in New Orleans. Do you know what was playing live? Well, instead of the ball drop and Happy New Year, just back that ass up. So Don Lemon's just it was so sweet.
That's even better. Hey, that's how we should celebrate.
It kicked ass. Yeah.
Is that? Yeah. I mean, that's the New Year's anthem, right? Is back that ass by Juvenile.
100%.
I had that album.
It is now.
Yeah. 400 Degrees, I believe, with a Z was that album.
2 E's and a Z, baby.
Yeah. So I knew he was talking about his heritage down in it. So maybe he flipped it up, switched it up for. Anyway, I watched a little bit of that. But.
Yeah. I like to think he that was on purpose, but
Cool. Okay. So
yes.
Yeah, I liked it this time around. There are a couple things I want to talk about though, real quick. I think where I went, okay, I like this movie was finally in the third act, the finale, because it essentially turns into the fight scene it's like Roadhouse. It is a version of Roadhouse where Josh Hartnett and Danny Houston are getting ready to throw down one-on-one, and it's sweet, and it ends with a great moment of gore, which is him punching him through the head and then pulling his brain out.
It's so sweet. It's so sweet.
It rocks.
It does rule.
So there's some pretty good gore in this movie.
There is. Yeah, I forgot.
I did read the graphic novel, or at least the first 3 issues, because that's how it was originally, and then they continued it on. I read that this time around. It's pretty good. Like I said, I loved the art. The story, there are some differences. Mm-hmm. There's a subplot about vampire hunters that gets cut from the movie, and I think necessarily.
That is added into one of the sequels.
So there were there's
4 30 Days a Night movies.
There's a Dark
Days. There's 2 movies.
And then a couple miniseries.
Yes.
That were on FearNet, which was...
Yes.
For those that don't remember, FearNet was a cable channel back in the late 2000s.
It was Shudder for...
Yes, and it was on linear cable instead of streaming. And
it was pretty sweet.
It was cool. I liked it. That's where Holliston was on that.
Yes.
Yeah, I liked FearNet a lot.
Yeah.
But they did a couple of original series in 30 Days a Night. Did you watch Dark Days? I thought about watching it, but then I didn't want to spend $2 on it because I read that it sucks.
No, it does tie into this movie.
Yeah, Stella.
The lead, Melissa George's character from 30 Days a Night is in the sequel. She's the lead, but she's played by Kylie Sanchez of Paolo and Nikki fame. Lost Baby.
Yep.
Okay. And yes, the movie's not good. I've seen it. It's bad.
So, I was looking around. I'm like, if I can find this on Tubi, I might throw it out of all. I do other stuff.
There's worse things to watch.
Yeah,
but it's not good.
But it was only available on Prime for like $3. I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
No, it's not.
And then the other thing too, the big difference between the book and the movie, the graphic novel and the movie is Eben, Josh Hartnett's character and his wife Stella. In the book, they're just kind of happily married. They're a couple. In the movie, they are not.
And I'm cool with that.
They're separated.
Yeah, I think it adds some drama.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to do something, especially if you're gonna, because the movie is kind of a streamlined version of the graphic novel, especially when you take away that vampire hunter aspect.
Which I think was smart too.
I do too.
Yeah, to me that overcomplicates a movie. I understand in the comics, but not. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, in the comics, you kind of, especially if you're going to continue it on past the first couple issues, you kind of have to set up something bigger beyond this.
I can't remember. Does the Josh Eben or Eben? Is it Eben or Eben?
Yeah.
Does his character become a vampire in the end?
Yes.
Yes. Same thing happens.
It's very similar.
Yeah.
Except for those 2 major kind of differences there.
Okay. I couldn't remember. So I've read it before, but it's been like a long, long time.
Right. Yeah, it's solid. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, I was watching this. I realized it was directed by David Slade. What the hell happened to David Slade? I had to look him up.
Slade did some Twilight stuff, right?
He did the one of the Twilight movies. I think the last one, maybe that was after this. And he's done. So yeah, here's what he's done since this: Twilight Saga Eclipse, which is not the last one. Is that the second one? Yeah, because the last one split into 2.
The last one is New Moon 1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
Eclipse is the 3rd one.
Okay.
I think.
Oh, there are 4.
Because
there's Breaking Dawn. There's Twilight, Breaking Dawn.
Wait, Breaking Dawn 1 and 2 are the last 2.
New Moon is...
There's Twilight... Second one?
That sounds right now.
There's
and then Eclipse
4,
sounds
right?
like the 3rd one.
Oh, yeah. No, there's 5.
Okay.
There's 5 Twilight movies. Twilight... Yeah, wow. Okay. The one with Michael Sheen is the one to watch.
I don't think that's Eclipse.
He's in the last 2 for sure.
He's in the last 2.
Because that laugh. Yeah, it's really sweet. Yeah.
So he did the Nightmare Cinema, which was that anthology series a couple years ago.
Yep.
But he's also been doing Black Mirror, The Bandersnatch, which I think is that Choose Your Own Adventure style.
Yes, with Will Poulter. Yep.
But that's it since this one. Of course, he directed Hard Candy before, which is kind of a bigger indie hit.
Dude, Hard Candy rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of got him on Sam Raimi's radar.
Yeah. Sweet movie.
And then he's got another movie called Dark Harvest coming out next year. And it's kind of, I've read the book. It's kind of like an It style thing where there's a monster in a town that comes back every like fall or Halloween on like a current basis. It's a fun book. I'm kind of interested to see what he does with it.
Do you have the book? Or are you Kindle?
That was a Kindle read, I believe. Yeah. A couple years back. But he's done some TV. He did Hannibal, Powers, American Gods. Some other facts about him. He did a couple of music videos that I was aware of, and they kind of fit with his visual style from what I remember. Sour Girl by Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh, shit. Yeah, totally.
With Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Totally.
Yeah.
I like that music video.
Yep.
Yeah.
The other ones that
are you an STP fan?
I like STP. That was actually the first of their albums I bought when I was a kid because I really liked that song.
Good song.
Yeah, that was number 4, I think. And then I went back and bought other albums. So yeah,
which are great too. Yeah. I saw them live with Scott Weiland.
Did you?
He was so good.
You Velvet Revolver fan?
Yeah,
yeah, I liked.
Yeah, I like Velvet Revolver. Yeah, STP is better, but like I saw them open for. They opened for Chili Peppers.
Okay.
And they like. Sorry, founder. They like blew Chili Peppers out of the water. Like
I bet you they're a more fun live show and a lot. Well, Chili Peppers can be kind of fun.
Chili Peppers were like the sound was bad.
Where'd you see them?
Pine Knob.
Okay.
Yeah, it could have been just a bad night.
Yeah.
The guitar was so loud. I couldn't hear a thing that Kiedis was trying to do.
Yeah.
It was miserable. I was like, what are we doing? Yeah, anyway.
But he also did Aerials by System of a Down, which is a song I really like. Yes. I'm a System fan, too.
Yes, me too.
And I'm a fan of this other band. This also fits this video, if you remember it, Girls Not Grey by AFI.
It's a great song, great video.
Yeah.
Totally his vibe.
Yep. So
100%.
So yeah, he did some cool music videos too. So
he's got a style.
Yeah, that was cool. So I'll check out that Dark Harvest movie. Raimi produced this. Raimi and Tapper, Ghost House Pictures, produced this.
It feels Raimi produced to me.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's got that vibe, which is as negative and positive, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think we may have talked a little bit about Ghost House, but I'll go through some of the stuff. So this was early on. It started with Ghost House Pictures, which was their production company that came about in the mid-2000s after Raimi kind of got some stroke and some pull with the Spider-Man movies. He started this production company.
Right.
He started with The Grudge remake, which I like, but
I think it was an attempt to like give other young filmmakers like he was at the time during Evil Dead a chance to like get some studio money and do what he was not able to do.
Yes.
Which is really cool, and I want to say that right away.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was particularly looking for like Asian filmmakers. That's part of the reason why he brought over Takashi Shimizu, who did the Grudge movies. He brought him over to do that, and he's like, just do what you did and do it over here. But I think this is one of the better ones. Like the Boogeyman movies aren't very good.
No.
Drag Me to Hell, I don't really count because that's a Sam Raimi movie.
Yeah.
The Possession, the Evil Dead remake. You know what? I kind of like the Poltergeist remake.
I don't, but that's fair.
Don't Breathe, another Grudge. I thought Crawl was. I know he produced Crawl. I don't know if it was Ghost House though. But either way,
I don't think Ghost House has been overly. I when I see the banner, I don't go, oh. Ooh.
Yeah.
I go, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like, all
right.
If people say it's good, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll check it out maybe.
Or I'm like, is that one directed by Sam?
So I'm not trying to like shit on. I love Sam, but I haven't been overly like that. Brand has not meant a whole lot to me.
For sure.
Yeah.
So there you go. Anything else you want to say about this
No,
movie?
I'm good, man. If you guys haven't seen it or you haven't seen it in a long time, I honestly check it out because like I think it's fun because I think Tim and I both enjoyed it the first time we saw it back in 2007 or whatever, or 8 maybe when we saw it on DVD. And I think I enjoyed it quite a bit this time, and you were like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, so I'm curious to see what other people think. Yeah. Write in.
Where can they write in?
horrormovieyearbook@gmail.com.
Yes.
We're also on Twitter @HMYearbook, and we're on Facebook, Instagram. You can search for us under the name Horror Movie Yearbook. So, yeah, we're there. Let us know. Next time, Tim.
Yeah,
we're.
Do you have a movie that
free ball
on it? I have something. I want to talk about some of the movies that are going to be coming out this year.
Sure.
Yeah. I think we'll throw a segment.
We can use
that
as kind of a
like a tether. Because I was going through the movies today, and it's a pretty big year.
It could be a pretty solid year if things pan out. Yeah. So no, sounds great. I'm down for that. We'll have some fun. No structure or major format. We'll just kind of
you don't have to watch any movies. Oh, check out! I did my top 10. It's out. If it's on the Patreon now, but it'll be out on the regular feed this weekend as well. So.
I didn't see 10 new movies this year, so I did not.
Yeah.
I am watching Fresh though.
Oh, I liked that a lot.
Yeah, I'm like about a half hour in.
Oh,
I'm digging it.
I forgot I'm training. With 30 Days of Night, I trained for fatherhood by watching this movie in segments.
Oh,
because I had to stop it a couple times and just be like, I got something else to do.
I watched it on YouTube in 11 sections.
Oh shit! The old school pirating way, or I guess I said the old school pirating way.
But it's like the old
now
new
it's
school.
Old school.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because
Part one of
my whatever. I watched it janky, but I watched it and I enjoyed it. So there you go.
Sometimes you gotta watch it at 9-minute and 30-second increments.
Hey, it was a work day. I had my kid at home. She's not in school this week. Forgive me, David Slade. I know it's not how you intended your film to be watched. You got to do what you got to do, man. I still liked it, so.
Fantastic. All right, we'll see everybody next night. Seriously, thank you, everybody, for listening. Take care out there.